Hello and welcome back to Faeria's Tips and Tricks. Last time we built a brutal green deck, giving us a taste of what the colour had to offer. This time we're heading to the mountains to craft a red control deck. This deck destroys your enemies by dealing damage through event cards and gift abilities from our creatures. This synergizes with the vicious red creatures in the deck, allowing you to deal damage to your opponent through combat and by destroying their creatures. This is a great start for building a red deck, but I advise you experiment with your own ideas as well. So let's start building the deck and exploring the cards that will fuel this strategy. I'd like to give a special thanks to Dan F for creating this deck. Here are the main removal cards of our deck which will make up part of our creatures. Blazing Salamander has decent stats, but his gift is what makes him shine. Dealing 3 damage to all adjacent creatures can be devastating. Don't forget, Salamander can help you finish off an individual enemy, even if he is the only creature hit by the gift. Bomb Slinger is very similar to Salamander, but you get to deal 4 damage to one enemy. This is great for taking care of individual threats. Powerful creatures like Dune Drake are the perfect target for Bomb Slinger. Don't be fooled by Lord of Terror's stats. He may only have 1 attack, but that Death Touch ability will literally allow him to destroy anything he touches. This is a great way to deal with big creatures, such as the ones in a brutal green deck. Firebomb is an event card that deals 4 damage to a creature or structure. This is great for taking care of structures that are too far for you to destroy with creatures. Now we've seen the core removal of the deck, let's take a look at the vicious side of things. Vicious is when you deal damage to your opponent's orb through creature combat or death. Bloodsinger is a core card in any vicious deck. He has good stats for his cost and can be used to gather Faeria. His effect will trigger every time an enemy creature dies, allowing you to chip away at your opponent's life over time. Shending Brute and Grimguard deal damage every time they're in combat. You want to get as many rounds as combat as you can with these two. This will stack the most damage on your opponent's life. Finally, Cypher's Wrath acts as removal, but benefits from the additional damage to your opponent's life. It also combos great with Bloodsinger. The last 3 cards in the deck will offer us some utility. Underground Boss gives us a reasonable body that helps with our Faeria pool. Devouring Plant is the only structure in the deck, but a very powerful one. This structure will help us fend off aggressive decks. Not only is it a cheap structure with a great health stat, it can also deal damage whenever we produce Faeria. Finally, Barbarian Ogre is our heavy hitter of the deck. 6 Faeria for a 6/6 body is great value and a serious threat. Now our deck is complete, let's go over the strategy. We want to play our vicious cards early to help put pressure on our opponent's life. Once they start summoning their own creatures, we can dispatch of them with our removal creatures and events. Once we have control of the field, we can mount our own offense and finish them off. Alright guys, we are into a game here. Gonna throw this hand away, looking for this Bloodsinger. Very important. And Grimguard as well, that's a great card as well. So this is the red control deck, which we just did the guide for. I'm just going to take you through a match, just give you an idea of how it plays. So this deck does contain some of the ingredients of Vicious Red. And the Bloodsinger and the Grimguard are 2 of the creatures that come from that archetype. However, this is a control deck. This relies a lot on creature destruction through events and gifts from our other creatures. And of course, Lord of Terror is here to deal with the green guys in case you run into too many green players. Looks like a desert though so far. Doesn't tell us a lot at this point. Faeria is a very flexible card game when it comes to deck building. You can be very creative with your colours and your choices, so it's not until a little bit later I get an idea of what is being played. So setting up a Bloodsinger here doesn't seem like the best idea. So I'm going to go for the Brute. I want something with some stats. I'm going to drop the Bloodsinger behind him. Yeah, so I want something with some stats, and the combat effect will now start chipping away at his life total, which is the vicious strategy, which we will be using with the cards we have in hand so far. Eventually we'll push up enough that we'll start dropping some brutes, not some brutes, barbarian ogres down and going for that final kill. Interesting, he's gone down the other side. So where's this elemental gonna develop a desert to? Next to the Faeria pool, potentially? Yes, he does. So much more defensive play from him there. We're taking the more aggressive line. Going up this side. Flying can be a little bit of an issue, but he doesn't have charge. Zealous Crusader as well. So 4-4 on that side. So now I need to decide what I want to do in response to him going down this side of the board. I obviously want this brute to initiate combat as much as possible. Unfortunately, he's stuck on the wrong side. I think it might just be time to drop some land up here. Get the Grimguard, get down ready to start tanking some of these guys. And unfortunately, I couldn't develop anything further. So I've gone for a defensive play as well. I don't want to get swept by these two creatures on the right from our yellow player. I want to have some form of defense readied up. I really want to draw Cypher's Wrath next. Cypher's Wrath will be excellent. It'll be a way I can deal with that 4-4. The taunt itself is going to deal with a flyer, which is great. He doesn't have charge either, so he's got a while to get down the board. So it goes for the Flashwind. So where is he going to move? So, not sure what he's intending to do with this card. This is a card that probably can be utilized a little bit more later, but he has committed to it. Like, he could move one of my guys here. Yeah, not too sure what he's going for there. Doesn't move anything in the end. Gives this guy flying. Once again, Cypher's Wrath is what I want to be able to deal with him. Oh wow, so that's a brilliant response. So I can build a mountain tile around here. So what I'm thinking of doing here is building a plane to move him up. Well, I don't actually want him to move up anymore. I want him to be protected. I'm going to leave him. I do want the Faeria pool. So what I might do here is develop a plane by here, move him across, gain the Faeria pool, develop another plane by here, and then start moving my way around. And there we go. So this runs right into Bomb Slinger now, which is great. So if he moves forward one, I just develop a mountain here, drop the Bomb Slinger, and this Zealous Crusader is taken out, and his Crusader's over. Now this card can be very terrifying if he draws an event. +3/+1 with charge. Just zip right down the screen and deal some damage, and he does fall right into my trap there. Bomb Slinger is especially good if people don't expect it. If it's not expected by your opponent, he's not going to be playing around Bomb Slinger, so he's just moved that straight down in line with it, which is great. Dune Drake is another one that Bomb Slinger can take care of as well. So I need to analyze what's more important to take out at this point. Grimguard, once he locks it into combat with him, you can hit him. This guy can move down, but I need to develop a tile there. Dune Drake is going to take care of my brute. It's a little unfortunate. But I do want to move my brute up. So the more defensive play here is to develop the mountain and bomb slinger. But the more aggressive play, which I quite prefer, is the bomb slinger this and move people up. So I'm going to do that. I get the crystal as well. So just leave him by here. If he moves across, I can just lock the taunt in. And then next turn... Do I ever develop the ogre? No. So next turn, what I'm going to do is probably drop a mountain here and develop my ogre. Or I could put a land tile here and here, move the bomb slinger across, and then develop my ogre on this mountain. So he one-shots him. Does take... Wait, takes 3 damage, okay. So that's this first damage he's taken. So Wind Soldier comes down. He hasn't got flying, so he can't charge across and kill this guy. Very interesting play from him. I think I preferred killing the Zealous Crusader now, looking back. But, you know, I went with the more aggressive line. However, I think the Bloodsinger is going to have to start moving down. He can move 1 space. So my Bloodsinger can catch up with the Crusader in time to take him out, which is not too bad. He summoned the Wind Soldier on this tile. Maybe unsure of what charge actually does. He needs flying if he wanted to zip across. And it dies and takes 1 damage from Bloodsinger. Can't fault it. Wow. That is a response if I haven't seen one. But do I just want to get closer with my ogre? I think so. I think I have time. And the big ogre comes down. I'm going to move the Bloodsinger across. You can still collect Faeria if I go for the Blazing Salamander. If I decide not to go for that, you can just move in and finish him off. So how is he going to deal with these 2 creatures on the left? He may have some hard removal. Yellow does have quite a few different events that can deal with creatures. I think it's Choking Sand with 3 attack or less. And then they have the 6 Faeria, destroy anything. Hard removal as well. He goes for that again. I don't know why. I don't think he really understands the concept of this card. This has been changed. It didn't used to die at the end of the turn. It was just haste, charge and free. But it has changed since, so maybe he's not familiar with what's happened with this card in recent times. And time is running out. What do you do? He moves it to the desert where his other Wind Soldier died. I guess he's just going to die there too. So yeah, but always be sure to read your cards before you play them, because if this is a game that's undergoing changes, the developers are still working on it, so it's definitely something to consider. And Cypher's Wrath is just perfect. Develop a mountain next to him. Won't be lethal though. We'll do 3 damage. We only need to take 2 more. So I think just Cypher's Wrath. Actually, what I'll do is I'll Blazing Salamander, deal 1 damage. Then I'll Cypher's Wrath this guy, leaving him on 1 health. Collect the Faeria pool, And let's see if he can answer this. So I think I've given you a good idea on how this deck works and how it runs. I really like it. There's a few changes I'd make with rarer cards. It looks like he's finished here. I'd like to get Cypher in here. Maybe swap these ogres out for more some of the rarer threatening minions on 6. But yep, so that is game over. And that is the red control deck. That is it for our second guide, which has given you a taste of the red cards. Thank you for watching, and check back at PlayFaeria.com for more Faeria's tips and tricks videos.